for you. We
That's
hope you enjoyed it. All right, here comes the show proper. We are going to count us in and do so in 3, 2, 1.
Well, that's the good thing about death. You either die or you don't. I didn't, so let's go hit some balls.
By all means, finish your tweet.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. This is the Morning Stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to TMS. It's the morning stream for the 13th of May, 2024. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Scott.
How was your weekend?
You know, it was good. Took Tina yesterday morning for Mother's Day. Took her to a brunch. Oscar Padillo, who was like a winner on Chopped or some one of those celebrity chef competitions.
Sounds familiar to me, that name. I don't know why it sounds familiar, but I've seen something.
He
with him.
did a really cool Argentinian brunch menu. Oh my God, she had like a Catalina, wasn't Catalina. It was some sort of sausage and egg and potato dish.
Ooh.
I had some stuff with some grilled bread and bacon, and then we got a side of plantains with bacon and like a caramel crema on it. Yeah, friggin' amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
How do you do how are the plantains delivered to you? Is that a cooked thing?
Cooked.
Is that just okay?
Yeah, these were cooked plantains, so hot. It's just like hot, soft bananas, basically, is what it was. But,
yeah, I don't know if I've ever had a restaurant plantain of any kind. I don't think I have.
Oh, really? Yeah. It's they also do plantain chips. So you get like is it guacamole? I think it might be a guacamole, and you get it's funny how they slice them, and then when they cook them, when they bake them, it just goes beer, like it curls up.
Oh,
and
Makes
you
sense.
just kind of dip them into the guacamole, and it's just amazing. They also have one of the best burgers I've ever had at this place.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Like I think it even beats the bonsai for me. So
Ooh,
good.
Really? Because you really like the bonsai.
I really like the bonsai, but this one is, and it's just a straight up cheeseburger, but it is so, it is so good.
I love a good straight up cheeseburger. It's one of my favorite things.
So you gotta to find a place that does plantains, or go to Sprouts or Whole Foods. Usually has them in addition. You know, like in the produce section, you'll be able to find plantains separately in a little smaller area, and we can cook them.
We prepare our own. I figure,
Yeah, I think you can just fry them in some butter and. Oh man,
we had the entire weekend was Mother's Day stuff. So Friday, Saturday. I remember we did a bunch of stuff Friday too, and I don't remember what the hell we did. But anyways, Saturday after Film Sack, we went right down to have lunch with my mom. Mm-hmm. And she got to pick, because that's what moms do on Mother's Day. She wanted to go to P.F. Chang's, or as she put it in her text, P.F. Changes. P.F. Changes.
P.F. Changes, yeah, sure. Well, sure, autocorrect probably doesn't like the Changs.
Yeah.
It just says P.F. Changes.
Yeah. She goes, see you guys at P.F. Changes. I'm like, all right. Now, it's ironic that she did that, because I think there have been some changes at P.F. Chang's.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
We took Tristan there for his birthday in February, so I'm curious to see that would be the last time I've been there, so it's been 3 or 4 months.
So last time I was there was 2019, 2020, right before the shutdown is the last time I was there. And it was to take my mom. Once again, she loves it there. John hates Chinese food or anything that isn't Italian food. He just freaking hates it. So she never gets to go there. And she loves it. So we're like, any chance we get, we're getting my mom tacos. We're getting her Chinese food. We're getting her all the things that John doesn't like to eat. Yeah. And so we go there. We meet there. My sister Misha and her husband Ken are there. And it's my mom and John and me and Kim. And we sit down. And when I was there in 2020 or whatever it was, I always get the pepper steak. I like it. I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The pepper steak was about $11 last time I was there. The same pepper steak on the menu is now $18.95.
Whoa. Geez.
Now, that'd be one thing if it was, lots of restaurants have gone through the inflation
they've had to
thing.
up their prices, yeah.
They've all done it. It's nothing new there. But what is new is it's so basically double the price or close to it. and about a third less the portion
Oh my God.
than they did back then. And I just looked at that plate and went, really? Is this how we're going to do this here? Because most places didn't reduce portions.
Are you bringing this to me in stages?
Because most places, like I spent less at better places in Vegas for better food.
Yeah.
For better portions for less money than I did here. And it just seemed like, PF Chang's, PF Changes, what are you doing? Why are you changing? So anyway, it was fine. It just was like, this is a little disappointing. I don't know if I'm coming here again.
I've always felt like the food is a little bit better than the run-of-the-mill strip mall Chinese restaurant that delivers, but costs so much more that I'll save the cost and get the strip mall. You know, we have a place called the it's really called Heaven Dragon, but we call it the Heathen Dragon.
Perfect.
Yeah. And they're pretty good. There's a Lou House. Actually, Lou House is our favorite place to get delivery from. They're really, really good, and they've got an amazing sesame chicken. That's my go-to is sesame chicken. But I've got to, it's the first thing I do when I get sesame chicken from a new place is I find a big piece of it, and I cut it open, cut it in half, and look at the chicken inside and see if it's like, cooked all the way through is the more important thing, but also that it's decent. Like it's not just all breading and cartilage pieces of chicken and stuff inside.
Well, I've had that. So, just you saying that brings back memories. Not of anywhere particular, but when you get a bad sesame chicken or a Kung Pao or something.
Yeah, oof. You remember it, but
I don't like it.
Lou House makes a great sesame chicken, so that's our go-to. But I do like the heathen, not heathen with the th, folks, but heaven, like it's heaving. Ooh,
you're like, oh, I got the dry heaves. I got the dry heaves. Yeah. So then this other weird thing happened. So that was fine. My mom's doing great. We were talking and all this.
Yeah.
John's a crank. He's a grumpy.
He did, even though he doesn't like the food there, he still came with you guys.
So he sits down and he looks at the poor waitress, and I warned the waitress. I said, just so you know, he's 92 and he's really cranky and he doesn't like this kind of food. So just know that going in, because she seemed very delightful and we didn't want her to feel like she was being targeted or something, because he always, not hard on the help, he's just a difficult customer.
He can be difficult, sure, yeah.
And so we warned her, and then she gets down to business asking everybody their orders, and he also wants the pepper steak, and he says, no onions, like that. No onions, he says. And that tone. Just
like he's Clint Eastwood staring down a perp in Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Onions.
And then toward the end of when he's ordering, he goes, are there rolls or breadsticks or anything here? Can we get rolls?
Rolls.
And I'm like, John, this isn't freaking Olive Garden. What are you doing? And then I told her, I said, it's just he doesn't know. He only eats Italian food. Just to ignore him, whatever. And then halfway through,
there are egg rolls, but it's probably not going to be what he wants.
No,
they're spring rolls.
wrong kind of rolls. He's just, I just want a bread type roll. I'm like, well, they don't have them here, dude. This is freaking Chinese food. And then later on, he's eating, and he looks at me and he goes, oh, this is so spicy. Oh. And I'm like, this is nothing. Like, if this is spicy, then you think milk is spicy. Like, what is your deal? So it was just the whole, he's always just like this. And we now just have fun with it, because the alternative is that we're all irritated.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's going to happen one way or the other. So you might as well just like see it as a comedy routine, as opposed to seeing it as something to get irritated.
Yeah. And then you sign the receipts too. You're like, sorry about the old crusty guy who would give you shit, and they give her a nice tip. We make a point of making the help feel good, even though they had to deal with this. Like, you just have to lean into it. Otherwise, you'll go crazy.
That's how it become with driving. It's just like, tailgaters and people who just, zip into your lane and don't signal. And this guy who's trying so hard just to get one more car ahead, because he feels like if he gets one more car ahead, then he'll get to his destination hours faster instead of just seconds faster.
Yeah.
But
the worst.
Yeah, I just kind of laugh at it now. It's like, okay, how's that going to work out for you? You're going to get there still within the same minute, get to your destination, and you're probably not even going somewhere where you have to be in a hurry. You just want to go.
No, they just want to get the F out, and I understand and sometimes that's subconscious, right? They're not even paying attention that they're doing it.
Right.
That's almost a worse problem, because they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
They're thinking of
But they
something
just
else.
wanna-
They're in a rush, whatever. Like we saw a lot of that this weekend. I think Kim's especially sensitive to it because she watched that accident that killed that guy the other day.
Oh God, I heard the skim. My gosh,
that was bad. That was
God.
gnarly. She undersold it too because, I mean, she was like in this guy's car. It's smoldering, not smoldering. The steam's flying out of the hood.
The smoke is coming out of the hood and stuff. Yeah.
He's pinned. His leg's bleeding. It was bad.
No. Oh, jeez. Yes,
Anyway, I was going to tell you this other thing. So we go to Kim's mom's for her part of this thing, and that was on Saturday also. So Saturday night after this early thing, we go there. Oh, thanks, Tay. My other daughter suddenly showed up with a egg McMuffin with bacon on it.
Look at that.
Which I can't eat till after the show, but I'll put it right here. It's fine. They don't know how podcasts work. Anyway, so we're over at her mother's, and that's fine. You know, a bunch of family show up, whatever. I like hanging out with her brother and stuff. And we're all sitting around talking about conspiracies. I can't remember what it was. Or I can't remember how it started, but we were talking about cancer because there have been a few cancer things going on in the family, so it was a topic. And her mom looks at me and goes, you know, every 1 in 4 people have cancer. And I said, I don't think that's correct. That seems wrong. I said, that seems high. I said, maybe 15, 10, somewhere in that range, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't think 1 in 4. And she goes, oh, well. And she's looking at me like, well, that's just too bad. That's what it is. And I said, I
saw it on Facebook.
And I said, well, where did you get that number? And she says, she doesn't like, she's not used to being corrected, but I'll do it every time.
Sure. Yeah.
I do it all the time. And she goes, well, I'm just guessing, but I think that's correct. And I'm like, you're just guessing?
Just guessing.
Because it just seems high to you. Like, I understand we got a family right now that's dealing with a couple of cases of different cancers, and that makes you feel like it's happening all at once, and there's a sense that it's everywhere all the time. But, you know, just making a claim that it's 1 in every 4, it's like, come on, man.
It's probably 1 in 4 people that she knows has cancer.
Yeah,
and
maybe
she's
that's
just boiled it down like, I know 24 people and 6 of them have cancer.
And I tried to explain that thing where it's like, oh, you bought a new car? Now everyone on the freeway that has that car, you see them?
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
Anyway, it's just always a struggle. But she makes amazing homemade bread, so I had some of that. So it all worked out in the end. And then we went to the zoo yesterday, and the zoo was lovely. Went there for Kim. Cool. Kim wanted to go just somewhere with the kids, and the zoo is always a good choice. So we go to the zoo. And the zoo is great, except when we get there, we're all excited to see elephants. The kids are, Van's like, elephants. And we go to the elephant pen, and we're ready to meet, I don't know, Gladys and Leroy, whatever their names are, because they always have common names. It's always funny. And they've been moved to the Kansas City Zoo, and no one can tell us why.
No way.
Yeah,
I thought elephants are like a dairy section of a grocery store. Yeah. Like if you go to the zoo, they must have elephants. If they send some to the Kansas City Zoo, they need to get some from another zoo to make up for the ones from the Kansas City Zoo.
Yeah, you're a rest stop gas station. You don't have soda? What are we doing?
Exactly. You better have elephants. You better have giraffes. You better have what else? Camels.
Yeah,
you
camels.
Better have
apes. Got to have apes.
Lions.
Yeah, apes.
Big cats.
Yeah, give me some cats. Give me some apes. Give me some bears. They had all of those things. Most were sleeping because we always go at the worst time. But no elephants. Instead, they had these weird, large horses from some Arabian something, like big Arabian horses. And I'm like, that is not a substitute for freaking elephants, dude.
No, it definitely is not. No.
I was annoyed.
I should have had a little cosplay trunk on one of the horses to say, "There's our elephant. Elephant right there. See? It's an unusual Arabian elephant."
Big flappy ears taped to its head.
Right, exactly.
Because it was just like, this isn't the experience I paid for. Like, what are we doing here? But then somebody in the crowd, I just overheard people, but somebody said, well, I think it's because the altitude, it's hard for them to reproduce in the higher altitudes, and maybe that's why. And I'm thinking, well, I'll bet the Denver Zoo has freaking elephants in it.
Totally does. Yeah, we know the quota. We know what has to be in a zoo for it to qualify as a zoo, and elephants are required. You can't call it a zoo. It's not a zoo without an elephant.
No, it's a standard, for shit's sakes. So anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And we have altitude too.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have it higher than us.
Higher than you.
So that lady was wrong, first of all.
Denver's higher than Salt Lake.
in every conceivable way. Anyway, it was fun though. We got, the kids are fun and all that stuff, but man, just bugged me out. And especially after I go to Vegas and see the Sphere movie and we get to see the biggest elephant taint I've ever seen in my life walk over me.
That's right.
That thing was freaking huge.
Right in our faces. Practically 3D.
Insane. All right, Brian, we got a call from Tony.
Let's hear from Tony.
Let's hear what Tony has to say.
Hey, Scott, this is a message from the For the Morning Stream. This is Tony from Brooklyn, now residing in New Jersey. Just want to thank you all. Love all the shows. Listen to them all, and you guys brighten my day. Thank you, Scott, Brian, and Randy the Deluxo. Listen, I need your help, Scott. I was wondering where I can get my hands on that, the Dune lady singing. Anyway, I looked on the iTunes store and don't know whether there's an app for that or what have you. I'm a boomer, please forgive me. Anyway, Dunaway's the funniest one. And Brian, listen, know you. Have a good day, everybody.
Everyone loves Dunaway. So
everyone loves Dunaway.
Yeah, there's no getting around it.
We've just come to expect it.
Yeah, it's fine. We live with this truth. It's fine. Here's what he means. That thing. Now, if I play much more than that, by the way, YouTube shuts down the video.
Does it really it? That there's a limit. It's interesting.
Yeah, they don't like it. Well, they'll demonetize it. They don't.
I wonder if you can do a little vocal thing on it, like slow it down 20% or something, or you know how you can do how people get away with putting full movies on YouTube because they slow them down 20% or something.
Yeah, or they're all sped up, or they're showing only like the corner of the screen, or.
Right.
So dumb that they do that. But yeah, it's so where I can get that, he's closer than he thinks. Any of the music services have the official soundtrack to the Dune Part 1 soundtrack, which is where this is from. And all I did was sample that. So
what song do you know the name of the song that comes from?
Good question, Brian. Let's see.
The Ballad of Muad'Dib.
Hold on. I can actually tell you this. This is great that you asked. Here we go.
The song "We Are Never Ever Ever Getting Muad'Dib Together."
We're never ever. Let's see. Okay,
Benny and the Gesserits is the song that you'll find it in.
That's the one. Okay, here it is. It is. I think Herald of the Change. Let me make sure. Is it gonna play? Nope, that ain't it. How about this one? Nope. How about this one? It starts right at the beginning.
It's the first thing you hear in the song?
Yeah. Wait, why is this so damn quiet? Oh, shit. That's not it. Okay, the problem... Oh, is this it? Arakeen? Hold on. No. All right, I don't know which one it is, but there's a ton of these tracks. What is it? 20, 30 tracks in the Dune Part 1 soundtrack, and it's in there, so just dig around and you'll find it. All right? And it's great. It's a very good soundtrack anyway. You should listen to it anyway.
Yeah, you should listen to it anyway.
Yeah.
I hate having to reset the counter, but I just gotta say I got my tickets to see Furiosa on the 23rd.
Oh! Woo!
Alamo Draft House got my, and I couldn't believe it. At like 30 minutes, within 30 minutes of the tickets going on sale, the big theater, they call it the Big Show at the Alamo Draft House I go to, already about 30% gone. I still got great seats, but still it's like, wow, it's
they went that quick.
There's demand. There is demand for this, and seeing it even on a Thursday night, not even on the Friday it comes out.
So it says Friday, May 24th everywhere, but it looks like they're getting it early. I wonder if anywhere here is, because I've been struggling about where to go.
Usually, I was gonna say, most theaters show it on Thursday, even though it technically opens on Friday.
You hear what? So they did an interview with George Miller, and they said, him and Chris Hemsworth apparently had a very good, like a really good working relationship on the set. Oh, good. As opposed to Tom Hardy last time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So it was like he was just enthusiastically all in, and he really liked working with him. And he said, they said, well, hey, do you ever think about doing an MCU movie? Maybe the next Thor movie, you could come and work with Chris again.
Oh, wow.
And he says, well, I've never thought about doing an MCU movie before, but I would follow Chris Hemsworth anywhere, and if they offered it to me, I would do that movie. Now, can you imagine, just for a second, a George Miller helmed Thor movie?
Thor movie? That would be pretty damn amazing. I mean, listen, Ragnarok is one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. I don't feel like Love and Thunder lived up to the excellence that was Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But we could give Taika Waititi, move him over to something else in the MCU and have Miller do the next Thor movie. I'd be all in.
Yeah, I would also be all in. So let's see where we end up. Okay, it does look like I can get stuff on the 23rd at the Gateway and at the Sugar House Movies 10. I have to look around, dude. I want to see this so bad. And my wife, the problem is Kim is leaving on the 26th for her trip to help her.
Her 2-week trip.
Yeah, where she's helping her sister move and driving across the country and all that. And I just don't want to see it. I want to see it with her,
Yeah, yeah.
I can't drive my wife crazy for the last 8 years with me mentioning this damn movie all the time and then not take her to see Furiosa on day one.
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
That's insanity talk.
Come to Denver. We'll see it at the Draft House. Bring Kim.
I
wouldn't mean to turn that. That kind of became a Trumpy thing, didn't it? You guys will come to Denver. We'll see Furiosa. It'll be
he called
popcorn.
I saw it. So I'm on like complete no political news in my life, but I watched some clip where he meant to say Jimmy Carter to drag him for something. I don't know what it was because of course you would.
Of course, yeah.
But he said, or he called him Jimmy Connors. I think is he the golfer? Wait, who's Jimmy Connors?
Golfer, tennis player, golfer.
Oh, yeah, tennis, maybe tennis. You might be right.
Tennis.
I can't remember.
It was a sport where you wear shorts and just walk around slowly.
Yeah. It was one of them sports. All right, let's play a game. Let's get Dunaway in it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Everyone's favorite Dunaway coming in.
He's in. He's locked in.
He's just everyone's favorite. Just send all your love to Brian Dunaway, I guess.
Exactly. We'll be the chopped liver to Dunaway's Kobe beef.
Whatever he is. Well, he's ringing, but he ain't picking up. What's going on there? Come on. Oh, there he is. All right. Oh, that music means it's time for Brian Dunaway to join us and for us to play a little bit of the morning half-asses on a Monday. Hi, Brian. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Scott and Brian. How's it going?
Brian? Let's welcome our fun uncle to the show.
Yeah. How do you
feel? Am I the fun uncle?
How come you? The
Tadpool's fun uncle?
Yeah. How do you feel about being everyone's favorite? Everyone loves you.
Oh, first of all, news to me, but I love the idea being everyone's favorite. I have a
you know why
one of those things. Yeah, you know how it is. I'm a people pleaser. I'm always like,
it's also the
everybody
fact that
has to like me.
They get you in small doses. If this was if this was an hour and a half of Dunaway, you guys would hate it.
Yeah, you guys have no idea when we like post show after film sack. I won't let anybody go.
No.
We're there for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Let me show you the latest laser disc I got coming. I've got House Stella Grotter Grooveback on Laserdisc coming along with
and I can't wait for you guys to watch it with me next week after Film Sack.
Yep. You guys, if he was here every minute of the day, he'd be your least favorite, Brian. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm a lot. Oh, I understand that. That's actually something I learned very early on, is that I am fun and I have a certain level of energy, but after a certain amount of time, people go, enough.
Yeah.
Enough. Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like how Robin Williams probably was when he was around. Not that I'm comparing myself to him because he's a legend. But it's just like that energy that's way up there.
Sure.
And it's like, how long can you take it?
Yeah, it's a lot to have in your face for a long time. But I, for one, and I think Brian would agree, are happy you're here today. Okay.
Always. Yes.
Dunaway, we're going to play a game. I'm going to let Brian explain the damn thing and who might win what.
Sure.
Brian, take it away.
Welcome. Well, okay. Welcome to Morning Half-Asses, a trivia game where I'm actually going to be giving you two the answers. I'll give Scott and Brian a category and 6 possible answers, 3 of which are correct and 3 that are like PF changes are incorrect. Depending on how confident they feel with the category, they can provide 1, 2, or 3 guesses, but if any guesses are wrong, they get 0 points for that round. Get 1 right gets a point. 2 right gets you 3 points. 3 right gets you 5 points total. Player with the most points after 3 rounds wins the prize for their contestant, and contestants are pulled from members of the Tadpool that aren't able to listen live. Scott, you're playing for Jason Sargent in Rochester, New York.
Nice. Sargent.
Mm-hmm. Brian, you're playing for Chris in Port Macquarie, Australia.
Ooh.
Australia. That's one of my favorite, my favorite Outback.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite Outback? That's where you get the bloomin' onion. Is it the Port Macquarie, Australia?
I wonder. Hey, if you go to the Outback, like the actual Outback, do they let you throw peanut shells all over the ground like they do here at the?
No, they don't have peanuts. That would be weird.
That's the Texas Roadhouse. Is where you've got the peanut shells. Yeah,
I always mix those up, and I'm not sure they even do that anymore because of allergies and stuff.
They don't. No, they give you because Tina's mom likes that place. So at the beginning of April, we went there for her birthday dinner.
Yeah,
they give you a bag, like a sealed bag, of about 12 peanuts at your table, and basically it's like, we'll just keep them sealed. They can open them and eat them if they want them, but that's it.
That's insulting. Just don't. Just get rid of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Just dump the whole idea. Let Five Guys kill people with their peanuts.
With their peanut allergies.
That's
exactly.
right.
Just peanuts. Come on. You know those guys are killing you every which way they can.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're killing you with the meat. The meat.
Mm-hmm. You want to? Right. We gave you fries, and we also included the rest of the bag of the fries in the bottom of the bag. There you go.
Yep. And your bag is soaked through so hard that there's no way you won't notice how gross fries are after you see that bag.
Oh, God, no kidding. Yeah.
But I'll still eat them.
I'll still eat every last one of them. All right, let's get to your questions here. You guys are going to get 3 questions. Maybe, I don't know, don't be so bold on the first question or 2 and get some points. But that's just my idea for strategy.
Sure.
You guys do you. Let's get to question number 1. Varieties of apple.
Okay.
So which of these are actually varieties of apple? Your choices are Fushu, Winter Banana, Pringle, Lobo, Telstar, and Melee.
Pringle banana.
Out of
Pringle
the
apple.
50 freaking apples that I'm familiar with, where'd you get these from?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. These come from the
Lidl?
Sprouts.
Okay.
Sheriff
From the
Lobo.
Whole Foods.
Lidl.
Yeah.
Telstar? Telstar.
Good Lord. That's like a mobile company or some shit.
It's a satellite.
I'm going with 2. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
These all look insane to me. There's no way these are real.
All right. You guys went all over the board here. Winter Banana is indeed a variety of apple.
What shape is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm guessing it's apple shaped and tastes faintly like a banana, probably.
Yeah, it's banana shaped, but it's cold, so it's really small. Lobo, also a variety of apple. Brian coming out of this one with 1 point. Pringle, not a variety of apple. Telstar being the third choice there. So Lobo, Winter Banana, and Telstar.
I took Ibbott's advice.
Fushu sounds like the most correct, but the fact that it sounded the most correct made me think it was the least correct.
And it's probably trying to make you think of Fuji, is my opinion.
Yeah.
Like some of these are like so close to other kinds, it's like, okay. Yeah. But I do like the Melee apple.
Yeah. The Melee apple.
Melee or mealy, maybe that's how it's pronounced. All right, let's get to
yeah,
exactly. Who wants a mealy apple? Let's go to question number 2. We're gonna move over to history. Things that happened in 2000. In the year 2000.
Ooh, this all feels right.
Yeah, which of these happened in 2000? Dolly the sheep was cloned. Dora the Explorer was debuted, not cloned. Hurricane Katrina struck. Charles Schultz died. Vladimir Putin was elected. And Bob Hope died. Which 3 things happened in the year 2000?
Going with 2 again because Brian's recommendation of strategy just does not sink into my head. I gotta have more.
Greedy.
I'm doing those 2 there.
Gotta go big. You guys both have locked in your answers. Vladimir Putin, totally elected in 2000.
Yeah, I heard that the other day. Yeah,
was that his first election?
He's up for his 20s.
Yeah, that was his. He's up for his 6th, or he just got what, inducted or not inducted? What is that? What do they call that? Inaugurated for his 4th term or something?
Fourth into the President Hall of Fame.
Yeah. It's almost like something's going on over there.
Yeah, I don't know how the election fixed. What?
Yeah.
5th. Okay.
What, you want to get murdered? Shut up.
Dora the Explorer. Dora the Explorer also debuted in 2000. Bob Hope died in 2004. So no points in either.
Charles Schultz dying.
I don't remember that being 2000, but okay. I'm thinking we're
I thought that was
Hurricane
90s.
Katrina, very memorably 2005. Nobody was fooled by that one. And Dolly was actually cloned in 1996, a little bit earlier.
Oh my gosh. Nicely done.
how's
Dr.
Dolly
Nikki,
doing?
Yeah, she's still around? I don't think she's
she
lived
just
that
put
long.
out she just put out a rock album. It's great.
Hello, Dolly.
Yeah, but does she end it every song by singing the main line one last time, and then that's how
She
every song
does
ends?
every
Okay.
single song, but she bleats it, so she goes.
Thank you for taking me on this journey with you.
No problem.
It's a
My
good
pleasure.
journey.
My
All
pleasure.
right.
Let's
Damn
get
it.
to question number 3. Brian going into this one with 1 point, Scott with 0, but this one is where all the crap can happen. Which of these are months without a U.S. federal holiday? So you get your U.S. federal holidays. 3 of these months don't have one. Your choices are June, September, October, February, August, and April. 3 don't have a U.S. federal holiday. 3 do.
Oh my gosh.
Is the June of July? No. 4th of June. No, that's not right. All right. Oh, Scott's already locked in? Shoot. All right.
Yes,
Scott's
Slow.
locked in. Wow, he's.
Guess I better straighten up then.
Slow ass mother effer. I don't think
Well,
I'm right,
wait,
but
I'm trying to think. Fine. I'm just gonna go with 1. There.
Okay. All right. Whew. This is it for all the marbles. So June, which Brian selected, does not have a U.S.
What?
federal holiday.
that's
good.
good.
That's what you want.
that's-
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
what you
want.
want.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
good. Oh, whew.
August,
I do.
Another
I thought
month.
you said with. Okay.
Yeah.
another
I'm an
month
idiot.
without a U.S. federal holiday. February has Washington's birthday.
Oh shit.
October has Columbus Day. September has Labor Day. April, also the other month that does not have a federal holiday. So 2 points for Brian.
Does that mean
And
I
the-
won?
You
That
did.
means you won.
You sure did.
And-
yeah.
That means that Chris in Port Macquarie, Australia, is getting a copy of Hero of the Kingdom 2 and Golfy. 2 games courtesy of King Kwamazabi. What was his name? King Kwamazabi.
Kwamazabi, I think is correct.
Kwamazabi. So congratulations to Chris. But don't worry, Jason in Rochester, New York. I said it right, Rochester. Don't say Rochester, Rochester.
Nicely done.
You're getting a copy of Super 3D Noah's Ark.
Oh,
I don't know what to do with that game, but it's super and it's in 3D.
Yeah.
So that's
all
2
the
things going for it.
you got the 2 lions, getting in there.
So
They're
what's
3D.
the gameplay? Is it more building or is it more collecting?
It's maybe
Or is it both?
it's animal husbandry is what it is. It's a
Wow.
game fully focused on animal husbandry.
Do you know what one of my favorite things? So Noah's Ark, one of my favorite things about it is anytime anyone does a painting of it or depicts it at all, there's always 2 lions. 2 giraffes, 2 lions, 2 whatever. There's
Yeah.
always 2 by 2. The 2 lions are always 2 males. I freaking love that.
Because they both have a mane. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got gay
Yeah.
lions on the ship. That's what they're doing.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Well done. Good job, everyone.
And no gay bears, which you'd think if they're gonna have
Right? We saw a bear yesterday. We saw a bear at the zoo and licking the bare armpit of the other bear.
nice.
And all I could
Sweaty.
think of was like, this is like Idaho with the hairy
Which animal enclosure were they sitting in front of?
men. They just outside the Boise airport. That's where we saw them.
Perfect. Excellent. Yeah, there we go. Have Kipper showing the thing. Oh, look, and also elephants. Get elephants on an ark. Not in the Salt Lake City Zoo, though.
No,
apparently.
they go to Kansas City for some reason. Oh yeah, there's the 2 lions, dude. What?
All right, so we have a little question here. Wabbit Magic says Juneteenth is a federal holiday. I think that is correct. It was.
Did it get kicked in last
Oh,
year?
it's
It
new.
did get
yeah.
kicked in. It did get kicked in last year. So prior
Yeah.
to the release of this game,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm sorry, after the release of this game, Juneteenth did.
Oh, but how does that affect the score? Oh, that's right. I still won.
Oh. Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah,
But you're
well, yeah, exactly. You would have not gotten a point, but you still had the 1 point you got in the second round or first round or something.
Yeah.
So
Dunaway, you win fair and square. That's the bottom line.
Brian needs to vet some of these questions a little better, doesn't he? He's usually pretty good about that. But anyway, regardless, congratulations to both Jason and Chris who are getting some games.
Congratulations.
You're a winner. Except me. But that's okay. We'll try it again. Look, Wednesday's when I get my revenge, and Brian will be back
Right.
for that little
Yeah,
piece
you
of
kicked
business.
my trash pretty handily last week, right?
Yeah, I
with our
did.
Feud. Yeah.
Take that, jerk. Also,
Oh.
kiss our butts. I got him.
You did. Oh, you so got him.
He had no time to respond. All right, weirdos. It's time for a little bit of news. And let's do that now. Here you go. Right here. It's time for the news brought to you by...
Talking Frog convinces man to kill his dad.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a movie.
I saw this and I've been thinking about it. Yeah. Is it a movie in a series?
Yes.
In like a trilogy?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there are more than 3, but it's
well, yeah. Right. Okay.
In its original form, it was a trilogy. Yes.
Is it The Empire Strikes Back?
You are absolutely correct. Nicely done.
I was thinking Talking Frog. Okay, I know these things are never literal. I was also thinking all right, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Star-Lord is convinced to kill his dad, but it's not by a talking frog, it's by a talking tree and a talking raccoon, maybe?
Yeah. And calling Yoda a frog is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But this marks the first one that I made up. Because
you did this one.
Yeah, I usually pick him from something, but I thought Brian's really good at this, so I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can't fool him, and I feel like at least I made you think, but you still
made me think and question my. If there was some obvious thing that I was just not thinking about, but the talking frog is, definitely could have thrown me there.
Chat, I don't know or Brian, if you can even see it. Can you see my left eye's all puffy? Do you see that?
Yeah, what happened? A little did you somebody fart on your pillow or something?
Best I can tell, these always coincide with when one of the kids pokes me in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, Phoebe poked me in the eye, and since then I've had a bit of a little pink eye infection kind of thing going on.
What do they call that? That is called a
conjunctivitis, right?
Conjunctivitis. There you go. That's exactly right.
Sometimes you get styes. That's not what this is. Mm-hmm. So it's all goopy and awful in the morning. Right now it's fine. I have some great drops for it. But anyone in the chat who is concerned, don't worry. I didn't get in a fight or get punched or anything. That hasn't happened in a very long time.
Listen, I've got a sun blister on my lower lip here. I was not using I've got some SPF. This ain't it. That's probably what happened. I was using chapstick, which doesn't have any SPF, and I tend to occasionally get the old sun blister.
Well, we got it's getting dry.
The herpes. It's the herpes.
It's the herpes. Yeah, Brian's herpes comes up here and there. Yeah, the herps. I like the herps. I don't think I've ever heard anyone call it the herps. I love that.
Watch out for her, man. She's got the herps.
She got the herp. Where she got that herps on her genitals or on her lips?
That's right, exactly.
Richard Simmons, you're familiar with his work?
I am familiar. I've met him.
All right.
Put my hand up against his to compare. We compared sizes, Scott, but it was just my hand.
Is that true? I didn't know this story.
Yeah.
How did
this was? So my aunt worked for Dick Clark Productions. She was one of Dick Clark's assistants. When he was doing Bandstand back in the 80s and early 90s. So when I came out to California to visit my grandparents and visit my aunt and uncle, they took me to a taping of Bandstand where they tape 3 shows back to back to back. And on one of the shows, it was the dude from Blue Lagoon.
Blonde hair?
Yeah, blonde hair. Can't remember that guy's name. But he had an album at the time.
I always mix him up with the Greatest American Hero guy. I know it's not.
Yeah, because he does look like He does look like that guy. And then the middle show was Richard Simmons because he had an album called Reach.
Oh my Lord!
Did
he sing in it? Did he sing or was it just over?
Yeah, he sang. It was like a sang, screamy. I mean, it's Richard Simmons, so it's kind of a mix of singing and screaming. And then the last show was Sparks, and we left just as they were coming in. So I got to basically see Ron and Russell Mail for a second say, "Hi, oh my God, I love your music, bye." And, we had to leave. But but Richard Simmons was, he came, basically we walked down to the stage in between shows, and Richard Simmons was coming, exploring the space or whatever. And he's like, "Oh my God, you guys are so tall. Let me see put your hand up." And my uncle, who's, super tall.
Yeah.
Put his hand, and Richard Simmons' hand looked like a little toddler's hand, basically, on his hand.
That's great.
And, about the same size of 8-year-old Brian, or no, I guess it would have been 12 or 13-year-old Brian.
So this is young Richard Simmons in the thick of his workout thing and all that.
When did that album come out? Hold on a second. Richard
Reach.
Simmons.
Halo Reach.
Yeah. Halo Reach.
Fantastic.
Let's see. Came with a 20-page exercise booklet.
Wow. So
Yeah,
it was they were tying it into the whole workout thing. You're supposed to play
Yeah.
Okay.
It had just come out. I mean, he was promoting the album, and
Got it.
1982. So I was 12 years old.
Good Lord.
When I went out there.
Well, apparently they found him too, which I thought recently he was missing. Right? Wasn't there a whole thing with him missing
for quite a while? Yeah.
Yeah. So he's back, and he posts on Twitter still. So here's how this worked. He claims Roseanne Barr tried to force feed him on her talk show. Which is a thing, I guess.
I forgot the Roseanne Barr had a talk show. Actually, that's the.
Yeah, she ain't getting one now. I can tell you that.
No, well, it might be on the One Network or whatever that.
I think it should be on the freaking Sci-Fi Channel. She's crazy.
A little wackadoo. Yeah.
Richard Simmons spilling secrets from his talk show appearance heyday as he continues to dispel rumors about his well-being. The fitness guru took to X, formerly known as Twitter.
Jeez.
Share.
Elon should just change the name of it to formerly known as Twitter. Just forget the letter X. Just call it formerly known as Twitter.
I support this movement. Let's see. He shared several stories when he was a guest on shows hosted by Martha Stewart, Rosie O'Donnell, Roseanne Barr, Wendy Williams, and more. As he claims, his experience with Barr wasn't a positive one. Simmons says when they first met on a plane, they shared a pleasant exchange. After her sitcom took off, Barr also hosted a short-lived talk show that had him on as a guest. Quote, when we were talking, I noticed something on the table in between us. It was a hamburger with everything on it, he wrote. He alleged she asked me, Richard, you can't always eat healthy, unquote. She got up and tried to force feed the hamburger by pushing it into my face and my mouth.
Oh my God. Jeez.
I was not amused. I snapped. I grabbed the hamburger and shoved it in her mouth and walked off stage. This is something I was not proud of. She screamed and yelled at me when I was leaving the stage. Her executive producer, Jeff Wade, told me she was going to sue me, and I told him I will sue her first, he further claimed.
That last part tracks.
Yeah.
It totally tracks like,
Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm going to sue you. I'm sure she thought, oh, this will be a really funny bit.
Yep.
Yeah,
Is it any surprise that people like Harrison Ford, Wilford Brimley, I could name others, they don't live there. They move the F out. They buy a ranch somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Hollywood.
Yeah, why would you want to be there, dude? Everything it's just always just
we can find good examples of people. I think it's not about the location, it's about the person. I don't think
it's 100% the people. It's the people for sure, but you're either surrounded by the people or you get out of there. You know what I mean?
But I see what you're saying. So like, it's the I see what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely not the town. The town's fine, but if you got to be around Roseanne Barr, I'd rather be anywhere else.
Yeah, agreed.
Anywhere.
Agreed.
Take me to I don't know, anywhere. I'll go anywhere that she isn't. We got a cruise.
Hobsdog in the chat disparaging Wilford Brimley says Brimley is another a-hole.
Yeah, he was known for being not very.
Did he get a little?
He's a little crusty on set and stuff. But so is Harrison Ford. Like that's what I'm saying. I think these guys get tired of the rigmarole and they leave and they get a ranch and.
I'm sure Costner lives outside of Hollywood, like doesn't live in California at all.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably
also known for being a little disagreeable on set.
Yeah, good point.
But I don't know. I kind of relate to these guys. Like you want to do the work, but you don't want to be in the trappings of it.
Yeah, I get that. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
How about this one? Cruise ship drug a dead whale into a New York harbor, prompting an investigation. This is pretty cool. Authorities this week got a surprise when a cruise ship, that had recently docked in New York Harbor called in a report that they had a dead whale stuck in the front of the ship.
Oh gosh, they didn't drag a dead whale; they pushed a dead whale.
Yeah.
That's push notifications, not
not drag.com or whatever.
Right. Oh my gosh.
The cruise ship called the MSC, can't read that right. Meraviglia.
That's exactly how I would said it. Yeah,
Meraviglia was returning from Bermuda when it came to port in New York. The statement from the cruise line said, we immediately notified the relevant authorities who are now conducting an examination of the whale. We are deeply saddened by the loss of any marine life. BBC reports that the whale had been identified as a sea whale, SEI whale. Never heard of that?
I haven't heard of those, no.
Endangered species is found to be 44 feet long. It can weigh up to 100,000 pounds and often found in subtropical, subpolar, and temperate ocean regions, according to the NOAA fisheries. So it wasn't anything they did wrong, but imagine like.
Well, we don't. Here's the thing. Do we know? We don't know if the cruise ship killed the whale or if the whale was dead and the cruise ship just happened to get caught up in it as it was floating by.
They picked up their dark passenger on their way. They didn't know.
That's right. Just like Dexter.
Yeah. I wonder though, like even if they knew it was out there, what are they gonna do? Those ships can't turn on a dime. They can't suddenly avoid things.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know. Can they? I know they can't turn, but can they stop and then the
I don't
whale
know.
just kind of floats?
If they know it's far enough ahead, I'll bet they could. Right? They have
Yeah.
enough time to stop. It's like a train. You got to have so much.
Oh no, I mean once they've got the whale on the front of the ship, can they?
Oh, I see.
Can they reverse thrusters and just stop and let the whale kind of keep continuing on in front?
Probably, right?
Yeah.
So they so now the explanation is either they hit it, it was dead,
Mm-hmm.
or they hit it, killed it, and just went, well, I guess we just keep going. That's why they have to investigate.
They got to figure out because Claire says the rumblings of the ship sound like whales, so it attracts them. They got to figure out some sort of sound that they can make underwater that sounds more like a warning, right? You just have some sort of device that emits a or something like that, and
Just sample it right from the show. Use that. That's perfect.
Just use that, and scare the whales away. Perfect.
It's funny because on our cruise, the whole point of a stretch of it anyway was to go out on the deck and look for whales, and we saw a bunch of whales.
Yeah.
But part of me was convinced that we were seeing them because at the exact same time I could angle my camera down and I could see these pipe things shooting excess food waste from the buffet, shooting it into the water. And I'm thinking, well, that's why they're here.
Cruise ship chumming the water and attracting them. Jeez.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me, but I don't know. Did you see that new cruise ship? Is it? I can't remember which cruise line it is, but they have 7,500 people on there, 2,000 employees. It's like the biggest cruise ship in the history of the world. It's like it's a town. I mean, it's basically a city.
No kidding. It seems like it's like competition, right? Like each Carnival and Norwegian, and they always have to top the other one with something like, well, we have a water slide on ours. Oh, we've got an entire tube system on the top of ours, and we've got a roller coaster that we've put in ours. I mean, I eventually bucket list item. I would like to go on a Disney cruise sometime because I've heard they're great, and I want to go on the one that's got the Marvel dining room. I think it's the Disney Wish.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that was a thing. That's awesome.
Marvel dining room that's got it's made up to look like Pym's laboratory, so it's all it's all weird. Pym food, kind of like the one they've got at California Adventure, but they've got videos and stuff like that. That would be the one I'd want to go on, but I can't. I don't think I want to go on any more cruises.
No, I don't. I'm kind of good too. I don't need. I've done it once now, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. It was fine.
My ideal trip is going somewhere and having the freedom to explore and kind of discover it myself, right? As opposed to we're gonna dock, and then at the dock you've got 5 different tours you can pick from, and but make sure you're back at the ship by this time because we're leaving. So, 2 hours before you need to come back. You've got to start thinking about how you're getting back to the cruise ship and all that.
All that rigmarole. It's just I don't like it either. I'm with you.
Yeah.
By the way, this ship, okay, so I confirmed it is Royal Caribbean. It is 10,000 total capacity of people. 10,000 people, jeez.
Wow, 10,000.
Yeah,
Jeez.
20 decks, 18 of which are for guests. It looks like a terrorist target to me, if I'm honest. Like, why wouldn't you try to bomb this thing?
It feels like it just feels like we're ripe for another Titanic or like something.
Yeah. That thing is. I mean, it seems neat, but was it worth it? Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what is worth it, taking a break and coming back with our old pal Bobby Frankenberger. Yeah, that's right. He's back with some more science. And it might have something to do with these weird skies we've been having.
Oh, yeah. Solar flares!
That's right. So stick around, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, we need music. Brian, do you have music? Play music.
Sound like I was saying the Danger Zone thing from Archer. I've been watching a lot of Archer lately.
Yeah.
Finishing seasons that I never watched, never got around to. I like the humor. I love. Archer's humor I absolutely love.
Sure.
The animation just always felt a little stiff to me. It was really well drawn.
Yeah.
But it felt a little stiff, and that was a hard thing for me to get
Yeah,
past.
it's those guys came from Adult Swim, and they were used to doing like space. It was all very low rent animation, which I guess is part of the appeal. But I'm kind of with you. If you're going to go to like FX and do a proper series, I could have used a little movement.
A little more movement, but I mean the voice work, the jokes, the writing, fantastic.
Yeah.
But
I'm
anyway.
with you.
Still enjoying it though. Hey, let's go to where are these guys from? My gosh, I don't know where. Should have looked ahead to see where these guys are from. You know what? I'm not going to tell you where they're from. You have to go find them yourself. This is a band called the Mendenhall Experiment.
Yeah.
Those of you want some heavy stuff, you got it right here. This is like your deep driving bass and drums and yelling vocals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I really like actually. They've got an EP coming out called Chasing Ghosts. This is the first single. It's called Say It. Say It. I don't know if it's followed by Don't Spray It. But the track came out this last Friday. The album comes out soon. So check it out. This let's see. When does the album come out? Again, it's like this one's paragraphs and paragraphs of stuff. I couldn't be bothered to read the whole damn thing.
Sure.
But they've been inspired by groups like Korn and Pantera. And they just sound amazing. Here is the Mendenhall Experiment and the first single from their new album. The song is called Say It.
Well, I'm just washing a dress for your big party, silly.
I could taste blood that time.
And we're back. Hey, who was that again?
That is the band The Mendenhall Experiment and their song Say It.
I finished Three Body Problem.
Oh yeah, cool.
And loved it thoroughly. I hated that it was over when it was over because I wanted more.
I know. I want more so soon. I want to know what happens. Yeah.
I just need to, like they went to I won't give anything away. But the scene with Benedict Wong toward the end.
Yes.
And he's trying to teach them a little something about humanity. And I went, all right, next episode. There are no next episodes. I got to freaking wait for this thing.
Exactly. Yes.
I really liked it a lot.
It's so good. Yeah.
Let's get in here, Bobby.
Yeah. You should have Bobby do a lot of uninterrupted talking so you can eat that Egg McMuffin because it's just getting colder.
I mean, you should see it. It's just kind of molting over here. It's like,
I'm sure.
Oh, you know what I could do? I could put it on this little space heater.
Oh,
it might actually work.
Might keep it warm, yeah.
Watch the plate shatter or something like that.
I
That'd
just
be
feel
terrible.
bad that you've got this great Egg McMuffin sitting there next to you. And
my kids and wife, they know better, so I don't know why they bring this stuff to me when they do it. But anyway, it's time to welcome our old pal Bobby, and we do that by playing this thing right here.
Science!
Bob is hungry, and the soup looks good.
It sure does. Let's talk to Bob. Hi, Bob. You look hungry.
Hello, Robert.
Robert. How's it going?
I am usually hungry about this time. It's lunchtime here.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's noon 06 where you live.
How does the soup look?
Yeah.
I'm not a soup fan.
Really?
That's great because we have a whole clip that talks about how your soup looks good.
And the soup looks good.
How are you on chowders? Better with chowders?
I think so. Probably. Yeah. If I have to eat a soup, I'd prefer a thicker one. I don't dislike soup.
But you don't go for the soup.
There's not much food I won't eat. I like all kinds of things. But it's at the bottom of the if there's anything else, usually I'll pick it.
Okay. You'll take something over soup. I get it.
But if you serve me soup, I'll eat it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be rude.
Where do you stand? Like scientifically, where do you stand on cereal is just morning soup? Cold soup. How do you feel about that?
That's a good question. That's a good point. I think it is kind of but does soup have to be cooked, or is soup just stuff in liquid?
I mean, gazpacho is what? That's basically cold soup, right?
Yeah,
but it was. But wasn't it cooked first?
No,
gazpacho is nope. At least the gazpacho I've made, it starts cold and ends cold.
Yeah.
You never cook it.
I think proper gazpacho is never supposed to be cooked, as far as I know, even the ingredients separately. However, my wife makes jambalaya, which is intended to be cooked and hot when it's served, but it's also very good the next day as Honestly, you could dip like corn chips
it's like
in
a
it.
stew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a stew. You can do it cold and do it hot, whatever you want.
If you go too far down this road, you start asking weird questions like, well, this isn't so weird, but like, is chili soup? Probably that's not too weird of a question. But then, like, is boba tea soup?
Oh shit! I mean,
I think the straw is what spoon. Maybe it's if it's a meal you eat with a spoon, it's soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about oatmeal?
Oatmeal is
damn it.
It's more of a stew, more of a gruel.
It's more of a stew.
Yeah, that's a really
like
good,
a goulash.
thing,
Yeah, like a it's more of a casserole type breakfast casserole.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? I mean, these are questions that have plagued mankind for
a long time. I mean, we still call tomatoes fruit, and they are technically, but what's wrong with us as a race? We're all wrong. Well, anyway, Bobby, it's good to have you here. We're going to start things today with an email because it feeds right into what you're going to talk about. It says, "Dear Saturn and Beta Goosey." I'm not sure what that means. Beta, is there a
probably Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice.
Oh, it's the way it's spelled.
Yeah,
it's a very weird.
That's the way that is actually spelled.
I know.
That star is actually spelled.
The movie ruined it for me, man.
The movie changed it to an actual beetle and juice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now they say it twice in the title, and they expect me to learn anything.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, anyway, it says I have a question for Bobby. Now that the solar eclipse is done, can I go back to safely staring at the sun? Love the show though. Blind Ryan from Michigan. So that obviously have nothing to do with these aurora borealis business, but close enough.
Yeah.
So now that we're having those, Bobby forewarned me that perhaps that was coming. There is no harm at looking at those, right? You can stare at those all day. Okay.
No.
All right.
And in fact, technically, it's no more dangerous to look at the solar eclipse than it is to look at the sun without being blocked. The risk is, and the reason people are warned about it so much is you don't normally care about looking at the sun, so you're just more likely to be looking at it. And B, because most of the light, if not all the light, or at the time when it's dangerous, most of the light is blocked, so it doesn't hurt your eyes as quickly, so you're just more likely to be looking at it for longer when it's just as much, so like the radiation is just as damaging as it would have been without there being an eclipse.
It's just that we don't know, and we feel like it's less because the strain on your eyes is less because it's being blocked a big portion of it. So for us,
just those few minutes or moments that it's fully eclipsed, that's safe. And then as soon as any you don't want to stare too long, because
there are just too many factors, because like it depends on and how long the total eclipse is in totality depends on where you are in the path of totality. If you're close to the edge, it won't be for very long. If you're in the middle, it'll be for longer, all that kind of stuff. So it's just people are like, just, you know what, just don't look at it at all without.
That's right. Yeah.
instead of explaining all those details and then everybody's going to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All the caveats.
It's a public health messaging, which in all seriousness, public health messaging has to think about things like that. So just in terms of the messaging, it's just like, you know what, just for maximum safety, don't look at it without the glasses.
Yeah.
All right. Come on.
These are good ideas. I like what you've done here. Well, let's talk about today. We're going to stay in this cosmic realm. We're going to talk about this solar, or these solar flares, solar storms that turned half the world into a chance to feel like Finland or whatever.
Yeah.
Or other Norwegians who get to see the northern lights.
That airfare to Iceland that we've been looking at.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, probably the only chance they'll ever have to see the northern lights in this context.
For sure.
But where I am, for sure, and I did get to see it. I know, Scott, you tweeted about how you missed it.
I did. I didn't know about it until I woke up the next day, and everyone's going, "Oh, you missed it, but don't worry, it'll happen again tonight." And I went, "Oh, tonight, cool. I'll make sure I'm there tonight." Guess what? Right. We had nothing but cloud cover. We couldn't see shit.
No.
So, because we had this weird storm roll in, so I'm still I'm still screwed.
Brian, did you get to see it? I don't know if you guys talked
We
about it.
did. Yeah, we went out Friday night. We were lucky that Friday night wasn't overcast because last night and Saturday night were. But this was one of those things that we had to use the phone camera night mode phone thing to be able to see. But once we did, it was like, oh my god, like purples and stuff in the sky is really really cool.
I had to do the same thing. I had to use my phone. I could kind of see like the faintest, like maybe pinkish haze to the sky. It was not very. I would not, if I wasn't looking for it, I wouldn't have said it was anything. So there's I definitely needed the phone, but with the phone I could see it. And I have a friend who recently went to Iceland for like a month or two ago, and they had the aurora there while they were in Iceland, and they said it was really hard to see even there. So it's apparently a very common thing that it's not anywhere near as easy to see with the naked eye as photos make it out to be.
And it also doesn't move like you think it does, right? Like you see these
a lot
these
of
little videos of them going.
Yeah, and those are time lapsed.
They're time lapsed. Yeah,
exactly.
So I set up the phone and did time lapse video and didn't get a lot of movement. It definitely like brighter and then dimmer and then brighter again. But I did get some really cool airplanes going through the light.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Through. Yeah.
Is that the first time you've ever seen it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. It's first time I'd ever seen it. But so a lot of people. So the Northern Lights, just as a quick, I'm sure a lot of people have read about this because it was a huge thing. But the Northern Lights are basically just what happens when the solar wind hits our upper atmosphere and interacts with specifically the oxygen and the nitrogen in our atmosphere. And also because I've had people ask me before, aurora borealis and northern lights, same thing, two different words for the same thing,
right?
So what happens is the very high energy particles that are coming off of the sun during some sort of a solar event, like massive flares that create coronal mass ejections or something like that. They end up hitting the upper atmosphere, and they energize the oxygen and nitrogen molecules and send them into a higher energy state. They cause the electrons to go into a higher orbit around the atoms, and that just gets them real energetic. But then those are really unstable states for those atoms to be in, and so when the electrons drop back down into a stable state, they have to get rid of the energy somehow, and that energy gets released in the form of a photon, a little packet of light, and that's what we're seeing is the energy being released after being captured by oxygen and nitrogen. So in many ways, you're actually seeing the oxygen and nitrogen that is in our atmosphere when you see the aurora, because that's what's releasing all that energy. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah,
that is cool. Yeah.
So how come? So there were some fears from some people that this was going to start a global EMP sort of event where power grids, communication grids, all that stuff would get a little screwed up.
GPS,
and I'll admit,
systems, as far as I heard, were hit by it.
Some were, and my 5G was kind of shitty for a day. I'll say that.
Yep. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, no kidding.
Mine was bad.
Now that you say that,
yeah, I had bad in places that are normally full bars, wonderful, no problems at all, ever. Total weird, inconsistent connections. I'm not here to be conspiratorial, but I just feel like there was something there.
I wonder if people who don't know. If there's a ton of people going to T-Mobile, AT&T, there are different carriers and saying, "I'm switching. You guys sucked this last weekend, so I'm going to a different carrier."
Yeah. I didn't hear anything about cell phone networks except for Elon Musk talking about the Starlink satellites having some trouble. So it's entirely plausible that happened and affected your cell phone signal and everything. But it could also just have been coincidence. But definitely things were affected by by all these coronal mass ejections and solar flares coming. There were GPS systems. Like I said, Elon Musk reported that they were managing it. They didn't nothing got destroyed or anything, but they were affected. Also, there were apparently high frequency radio blackouts in Australia, China, and Japan. All reported that high frequency radios are things like. It's pretty serious, actually. There's emergency frequencies that use these high frequency bands. Aviation uses them a lot for navigation, and so those had some blackouts periodically over the weekend. And GPS, they were worried. Some farming equipment, like a lot of the farmers across North America, were warned that it might affect GPS because massive like industrial size, like big farming operations use GPS to do precision planting for their I'm not a farmer. I don't know what things are called. Tractors,
crops.
I think.
Yeah, they're. Oh, gotcha. I thought precision planting of their crops, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever those tractors are called that plants the
combines
seeds.
Or
yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
They use GPS to do precision planting of that kind of thing, and so they were warned, and a lot of them stopped planting, which is a big deal because everything
slows
has
production,
to be,
right?
Yeah, it has to be timed pretty well for the season and everything. I mean, if you've ever played Stardew Valley, you know that.
Oh yeah,
delaying by a day even can devastate your profits.
It's actually the least favorite thing I have about that game. I hate that aspect of it. I understand this little tweak of reality, but it's like, I'm 1 day from winter and you're telling me all of this lettuce is going to crap tomorrow morning? I hate that.
Yeah. And it would have, if you had another day, it would have been able to.
It would have been fine. I would have put it in the dumpster and sold it for a profit. Pisses me off.
That's where you sell. That's where you sell your crops.
It looks like a dumpster. It's like a weird looking wooden dumpster thing.
Yeah, it does.
So, what was I going to say? So, had they not, let me ask you this, because I cannot get this visual out of my head. Would have all these industrial planters who rely on GPS to get the planting done, would they just suddenly go, shit, and just start planting all over town, like all up in the road, and like, oh no, they're in grandma's garden.
They've gone wild. They've gone rogue.
Yeah. I love that idea.
I do too. I imagined like all the rows would have been like diagonally across the the fields instead of straight in lines, right?
Yeah.
Or crisscrossing, like lettuce is mixed with soybeans and the world is going crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know, so it's entirely plausible.
I did read a book that was about this very thing, a solar flare so powerful that it knocked out the entire world's, like all the grids, anything electronic was fried.
Yeah.
Obviously for the sake of fiction. Sure. What would actually have to happen for that, like a planet-wide level event to EMP everything out of commission? Do you think?
It would have to be pretty large, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. These are things that scientists and people in industries that are affected by this, like the power grids across countries and GPS, and satellites, and also communications networks. They think about and they plan for this because it's not something that could not happen, and it's almost like one of those things that it will eventually happen. And it's just a matter of whether or not we have upgraded the infrastructure to such an extent that it can handle it. There's always a famous one that's pointed out from, I think it was in the 1800s or something like that. There was a big solar storm that happened and actually caused a bunch of problems with the telegraph lines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so people were communicating on those. People reported that they could hear ghostly voices across telegraph lines, and a lot of them just overloaded and shut down and stuff like that. So it's
my dots are turning into dashes. Oh my god!
And what are these asterisks? But it's not an unreasonable thing, and when people are quote unquote freaking out about it, it's maybe they should wait and see, but it's hard to say that those are irrational fears that people have, because it's something that absolutely could happen, and it's very difficult for us to predict it. We can predict it better now than we used to be able to. This is why we send probes and satellites out to monitor the sun, and we can see where a lot of the magnetic field lines are bound up and tightly wound up. We can see where there's a lot of solar flare activity, and we can see when that's going to be pointed directly at the Earth, because that's when you have to worry about it, is when these regions of the sun are pointed directly at the Earth. If stuff shoots off of it during that time, then that's when we're likely to see it, and we can predict it pretty well. We knew that something was going to happen before it actually did happen. I think a week before, people were talking about how, like, oh, around May 9th, this is when we're going to start to get the, and so we knew. We didn't know how strong it was going to be. But even a couple days before, we kind of had an idea, because you can see when it's going to happen before it happens. And that might seem like a weird thing to people, because you think everything that's coming off of the sun is light, and if we can see it, doesn't that mean it's already reached us?
Right. Right.
But it's not entirely the truth, because the light gets to us, but what causes these things to happen is actual plasma from the sun, which has mass and moves considerably slower. So we actually get a visual of what happened before the plasma, the super hot plasma, reaches us. And you guys, normally this all happens and you can see it in the extreme northern and southern regions of the Earth, close to the poles. But the reason, the stronger the storm, the more south it will happen, because the magnetic field lines around the Earth are sort of like, it's almost like donut shaped around the Earth, right? Imagine a donut with a very small hole, and the Earth is right in the middle of it. Right?
Oh, I can imagine that donut just fine.
That's a big donut.
I had one at Pink Box the other.
Is it when you say that, is it like going around kind of parallel to the equator, or more going around the?
So the magnetic field lines leave the North Pole, make a big loop around,
it's like,
and then come back into the South Pole. Yeah,
that's right. It's almost like a figure 8, right? Because it's like
if you take a cross section of it, it looks more like a figure 8. Yeah, but if you extend that all the way around, it ends up being a torus. Is the
torus,
technical?
Sure. Okay. Yep.
But it's like donut shaped, right?
A donut. Totally. Yeah. Now I get it. Okay. Yep.
And so this plasma is attracted to these magnetic field lines, and so normally, what happens is it hits the magnetic field, and it gets redirected away from the Earth, around the Earth, and so it protects the Earth. This is why we normally don't have to deal with this. And a lot of the plasma will stick to the magnetic field lines, and sort of like a big giant slide, they'll slide along them and then end up hitting the atmosphere near the North and South poles.
Okay.
But this plasma storm, when it's really strong, when it's stronger, it will deform the magnetic field lines, because it's like it's blowing against it. Think about that, right? So the side that's facing the sun gets sort of compressed and pushed closer in towards the Earth, and the side that's facing away from the sun gets extended out and stretched out, and it stretches that hole, similar to what happens when the thing that you're making with your 3D printer gets put inside the person that it's supposed to be put inside. It stretches that hole.
Got it. Got it. Like a donut with a tiny hole. You want to make a bigger hole on your donut. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it gets blown on the other side that's facing away from the sun, and it stretches, and so there's a bigger hole, so the plasma can reach further south because of that, and that's what happened. Because it was a very strong storm, it came very, very far south, and right, and so a lot of us got to see it, which was really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Some of the shots, I think it was September in our community on Discord, she put up some stuff her daughter took in Oregon. The Oregon shots, holy shit! In Oregon, you guys.
Yeah, Oregon really got the best show. It looks like
it really did. It was beautiful.
Greens and we just got purples here, but.
Yeah, I never got to see it. I'm annoyed. And then when we're done, right? It's passed. We're through.
This one's
passed, but apparently in another, I think maybe 2 weeks, there could be another one. There's another bunch of flares. Yeah,
that's great.
There's another bunch of flares that are sunspots with flares that are making its way towards the central disk facing the Earth. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
But it was a big one. It wasn't just one either. That's why it lasted all weekend. There were like 7 or 8 different CME events, coronal mass ejection events that happened.
It sounds so much gnarlier when you say coronal mass injection.
It really does. It sounds, just that.
So and if you break apart the word, it makes perfect sense, right? The coronal, the corona is the upper atmosphere of the sun, which is where all this plasma comes from.
Right.
And then it's the mass. It's a mass ejection, so it's ejecting mass, which is the plasma is matter, right? So it's ejecting mass from the corona. And that's why it's called a coronal mass ejection.
And none of these are signs. We know enough about this phenomena to know these are not signs that the sun is rapidly deteriorating, or this is.
No. It's a perfect. It's exactly what the sun has always and will always do. It's just that's how stars work.
The sun is doing its job. It understood the assignment.
Yeah, it's got the assignment.
What happens is
doing sun things.
We have a very regularly shaped magnetic field around our Earth, right?
Yeah.
And the reason ours is shaped that way is because we have a solid core surrounded by liquid metal, and the motion. So they move, they rotate at different rates.
Yeah.
And that just creates a magnetic field, but it's very regularly shaped. But inside the sun, it's all plasma, right?
Right.
So everything is moving around everything else, and there's no solid or liquid anything that can move in a regular way. So there's magnetic field lines like spaghetti inside the sun. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
Going in all different directions. And so some of those will extend out like a loop around the surface of the sun, and then whenever one end of the magnetic field line reaches the other end, it'll sometimes snap apart like a rubber band. I'm sure you may have heard it referred to that. It, like the tension builds up and it sort of snaps like a rubber band. And that's what causes these flares, and if they're big enough, mass ejections.
Well, some of the ones we have in video form, you see it do that. That whole thing you're just talking about. It's like you'll see that little ring come out, and then it'll like pop, and then send shit in 2 different directions or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the force of that magnetic field, like snapping, that actually just shoots plasma away from the surface of the sun. And imagine how forceful that has to be for plasma to escape the gravity of the sun and come all the way out.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Massive forces,
Yeah, crazy stuff. Well, good. And we're all okay. That's the important thing. And we all have internet. Internet's fine. Power's fine.
5G seems to be back to normal, although I am switching to T-Mobile.
Actually, we're thinking about switching to... So Comcast Xfinity has a pretty screaming deal on wireless. If you already use their home stuff, you move to their wireless plan. But I'm nervous because it's Comcast.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think I trust it. They're already weird. Anyway,
you got to deal with that customer service.
That's right. That's worse than a coronal mass ejection right there.
That's right. Exactly.
I wanted to mention the elephants at the zoo real fast.
Please. The elephant in the room is the elephants in the zoo. Yes, please.
You were wondering about that. I don't know specifically about your zoo, but I know ours. We lost our elephants as well, and I was reading about it. Apparently, the elephant population is going down, and so even in captivity, the elephant population is going down. So what a lot of zoos are doing is when their opportunity arises, they're sending their elephants off to other places where they can get many of them together to sort of try to raise the population, to have them breed together. So that's probably what happens.
Business.
They're organizing elephant orgies is exactly what they're doing.
Orgiefants, they'll call them. Well, Bobby, as always, this is good information that you've shared with us. I feel like we've been scientifically edified, and I'd like you to now tell people where to get your show so that they can get more of this stuff.
Well, All Around Science is the name of the podcast that I do on a weekly basis. My co-host and I, Maura, we talk about whatever is just interesting going on in science at the time, or what's in the news. And this past week we talked about, I don't remember. I have such a bad memory about these things. It was mechanical batteries. That's what it was. You ever heard of a mechanical battery?
No, sir.
Well, they're used all the time, and to help provide stable energy reliability for the power grid. And they don't use chemicals. They use mechanical means to store energy, and they're very interesting.
So they're always moving, I assume. There's mechanic, meaning
some of them are.
Okay.
When I say mechanical, I really just mean not chemical, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but there is a type of battery that's just always in motion. It's called a flywheel storage system, and it's very interesting. There's pumped hydro. There's one type of battery where it's never been made, but they thought about doing it, was you just lift up a big heavy thing and hold it there. That's what you do. That's how you store the energy. It takes energy to lift something up. So you hold it there, and it's a bunch of potential energy, and when you want that energy back, you drop it.
You drop it?
Yeah.
Really? That's a wild idea.
But a lot of them work that way. So if you want to know about the different ways that mechanical batteries work and how they're used now. These aren't just theoretical.
Yeah.
They're used to stabilize our power grid to handle when we need like demands and peak energy usage and everything. So
that is
listen
really
to
cool.
All Around Science, this episode we just released today.
Very nice. Well, go stare at the sun. No, don't do that. And we'll see you later. Bye. That's great. That sort of stuff fascinates me. How could you imagine shrinking that tech down to your phone every once in a while? It just feels like something dropped in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit.
It's just my battery recharging itself.
That's right. It's all fine. Oh, I need to retake that photo. Why? The thing dropped while I was trying to take it. I don't know if that'd be very practical.
Yeah, no.
Brian, I got a quick email to get us out of here from Cheese Biscuit.
Yeah.
Cheese Biscuit. He says,
I like cheese.
This is the insight on the whole Buc-ee's thing.
Which Tina and I finally got to see in person.
Talk about the one you went to first. What was that like? Because you got some hands-on.
This is the new Buc-ee's that just opened up here in Colorado, North I-25, about 3/4 of the way between Denver and Fort Collins. So it's about an hour north of Denver. Not someplace you want to go just on a whim. But if you're going to Fort Collins anyway, stop by Buc-ee's. You approach the place, and from the outside it looks massive, but there is in front of it is this long, you've got your regular gas stations that have 4 bays of pumps.
Oh, right.
Had 30. 30 bays of pumps. And then you've got the big parking area behind it. So we park, and then we go in, and it is imagine the biggest department store you've been in that just stretches on forever, and okay, they've got clothes here on the right, and then swimming stuff, and then gifts like those cheesy bears made out of pieces of log that you put in your front yard that says, "Hi, neighbor," or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you continue on, you've got a wall of jerky and then different kinds of beaver nuggets. They really, when we got that box from Tap Tap Percussion last week, and they had 4 different kinds of beaver nuggets, I was oh, wow, that's amazing. Oh, yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg of the types of beaver nuggets that you can get.
So they got, I'm assuming, a ton of other flavors, like salt and vinegar and freaking...
Yeah, exactly, like dill and, all these salted caramel and stuff like that.
Wow.
So then you go a little further, and in the middle they've got a fudge, a place where they're making fudge, 20 different kinds of fudge. We had to get a sampler box, of course. And then beyond that is another thing in the middle where they're making pulled pork and baked or grilled ribs and stuff like that, smoking ribs here in the middle of the restaurant and smoke going up. And it just smells absolutely amazing. That's it. That's what they were yelling. Brisket on the board. That's Wes says brisket on the board. I was trying to figure out what they were all chanting at the same time. So they're chanting brisket on the board.
Wow.
If we weren't going up to meet Barry and Bobby Ann and Ren and everybody for a really incredible dinner in Fort Collins, we would have gotten food there because it smelled so amazing.
That's great.
But God, the place is just insane. In addition to the wall of jerky, you've also got a counter, kind of like you have at your grocery store, your produce counter, but instead of all the different kinds of fish and lunch meats and stuff, it's just different flavors of jerky, about 20 different kinds of jerky.
You would hope a place like that would be rife with jerky options. You know?
Yes, and we did pick up some teriyaki, some Bohemian garlic, some classic, and so far everything we've had is has been amazing. But holy cow, Buc-ee's! I see why it's just like such a monumental thing when people go to Buc-ee's, but it's crazy to see.
I want one here. They have the freaking Maverick people have such a stranglehold on the convenience store market here. I just need them to sneak one in.
Yeah,
make it happen.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of truck stop shit here, so just kick out a Flying J's and do that
for sure. Amy says their food is really good. Oh, then I need to make another trip. What I need is some Lyft ride to say, well, we're going almost to Fort Collins. I want to get up to the Buc-ee's up there, and I'm like, cool.
Hell yeah,
I'm gonna get something to eat.
Yeah, you should change your handle on the app to Buc-ee's, and then people going to Buc-ee's will choose you.
That's right.
I'm trying to figure out ways to ensure you're going to Buc-ee's.
Doesn't quite work that way. I could put I could put in destination mode and say Buc-ee's and just see if I'll get rides up to Buc-ee's.
There you go.
But then I have to find ways back to Denver, and that's a little bit tougher.
That's perfect. Here's a little Buc-ee insight from Cheese Biscuit. He says, TMS Buc-ee's. We have a lot of Buc-ee's in Central Texas, and they are always crazy and insanely busy. I asked an employee once if they ever have a slow period. She took a moment and then said, matter-of-factly, quote, Sundays after 8 p.m. It was very specific. That's a rough job. I've worked food service and understand rush hours, which tend to be limited over a full shift. Working entire shifts every day in full rush with no end seems like hell on earth. Please be nice to Buc-ee's employees. Cheese Biscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that's crazy.
That was the other thing that really surprised me. It was not super busy in there. Like we did not feel like we were bumping into people or having to wait to look at something. It was, this was a Thursday at about 6 p.m. and wasn't busy at all. It was like if it was that busy all the time, no problem going there and
sure,
have no issues.
Sure. Well, as the word gets out, expect that place to explode.
It'll get busier and busier. Yeah, I'm sure when it first opened, it was a madhouse in there.
I kind of want to try these pickle flavored, dill flavored,
pickle flavored beaver nuggets.
Yeah,
I'll have to get a bag.
They're not good for me either way, but that sounds like way less sugar than these things.
Yeah, for sure.
Too much sugar. All right. Well, that'll do it for us today. Thank you all for listening and being here. If you're looking for details about anything to do with this show, head on over to frogpants.com/TMS. Chat room, stick around after the show. We'll be doing your titles shortly. Make sure to submit them now if you haven't yet. Brian, let's get out of here with a little music. I'm guessing you got a little something there.
I do have a little something. This is going out to our friend Kirsa, who we just saw in Vegas with Ducey. She goes by the name Caducey. Which is funny because Tina and I rode with them to Excalibur to the Playground thing. And we get in the car and it's nothing but K-pop playing in there. And we're like,
nice.
So who's the K-pop fan? And they both are. It's like, all right, cool. But no, this is not a request for K-pop, amazingly enough. Kirsten says, I'm putting in a late request for Ducey in my 18th anniversary, which was a few days ago. I'd love to hear a cover of or by Daft Punk, Incubus, Collective Soul, or Weezer. Thanks. Love the show. Signed Caducey.
Nice.
Listen, I'm all over Daft Punk covers, and I've got one that's a favorite of mine, and I'm surprised I've never played it on the show before, but I'm going to rectify that right now. This is by Australian musician and cover artist Natalie Imbruglia. People think that her song Torn. This is right, I'm torn. I'm a little late. Yeah. That was actually originally by, was it Edna Swap, I think was the original artist.
Oh, shit, another cover. I had no idea that was a cover.
Yeah, she turned it into a big hit. Anyway, she put out an album in 2015 called Male, M-A-L-E, in which she covers male-fronted bands and male artists, including Daft Punk's Instant Crush, one of my favorites by that band, and she does an incredible job with it. Here's Natalie Imbruglia and Instant Crush.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
F the police coming straight from the underground!
Oh my gosh. Still just